It's July 19th, 2012. My name is Bert Adams. I'm with KHI Mechanical here at the Shields project. We're going to go over the sewage ejector pump. It is the only pump here in the building for the sewage ejector. Its purpose is...
Where's it located?
We are in Area C in the aquarium pit. You can actually find this on print M1.3. Basically, its purpose is we've got floor drains throughout this aquarium pit. Anything that would be on the floor here is going to go down into this sewage ejector pump pit. I'm going to go ahead and first open up the pit, show you where the pumps are at, show you the three different floats that we've got that will let the control package know what it needs to be doing. There are three nuts here. And you can open this up. And probably ought to kick these in the hand just to pump that out, but this just has the one pump on it. We've got the three floats.
Here, you want to use your pointer?
Yeah, please. Drop it in there, I hope. This is our stop float. Once that is not engaged, the pump will stop. This would be our start float. Once the water gets up to having this float sitting more than just horizontal, it's got to actually come up a little bit, that will start the pump. If the pump did not start and the water level gets to this float, that float will lift up and it will set off an alarm on this control panel. And I will demonstrate that for you. There is a test button here that I'm just going to simulate if it were to go into an alarm. That's what you'd be getting. You're going to hear it, and you're going to see it. If you do need to silence it, just so you can get that noise to stop, you'll just pull the switch towards you. It'll silence that alarm. Inside this control panel, sorry, it'll take me a second to get this open. It's got the two screws, one on top, one on bottom, and a latch on the side. The building control system does monitor these pumps. If these pumps come on, it does let the building management system know that these pumps had come on. So that could be an indication to you to let you know that this thing did have to fire up. Inside this control panel, there is a circuit breaker here for our pumps. This is the contactor for our pump. This CT is what lets the building automation system know that the pump is running. This is our control panel here. We've got this LED is lit up to let you know that we have power to this board. This LED is lit up to let you know that we've got power to the alarm circuit. This switch right here it's a 3-position switch. Right now it's in auto, so if those floats were to come on, it would kick the pump on. If you needed to manually pump the system out, you can flip this switch to hand, which would just be all the way up. And that's pumping out the system. Middle is off, all the way down is auto. And that's really about all that we've got to this. You would need to occasionally, check your contactor, make sure that you're not seeing any arcing. My guess is that's not going to happen for quite some time. This shouldn't be running very often, if at all. It's just going to be picking up stuff from the floor drain, and then once that fills up, sets that float, it will come on, run through this system, push it out. There's a check valve here to prevent the fluid from coming back down, and
shut off.
That's about it. This shutoff valve would shut off this line here. I guess if you had to get into this system, if you had to change out this check valve for whatever reason, you'd want to go ahead and shut that off. So then any fluid that's still in here isn't going to come back down on you. If you did, for whatever reason, have to change this check valve out, that would isolate that from coming back down and getting all over you.
To check for amperage on the motor, to clamp amp those, where do
you would clamp onto this black lead right here.
okay, how many amps?
It is rated for control circuit, no, 7 to 15 full load amps. Now that's not the actual motor amperage. I will have to, let me see if I have that real quick in my paperwork. I was at 9 amps on L1, 9.1 amps on L2. As for the motor data, I'm going to have to pull up the submittal on this pump to find out what full load amps are actually at, because I couldn't get down to the motor to actually see it.
So basically this pump over here is just in case the aquarium has a problem and then there's water over here on the floor.
If there was water all over the floor, we've got floor drains throughout here. All of those drains would feed down into this pit, and then once it sets that float, it will eject all that fluid. This pump is rated at 9.3 amps. When I did do the startup, I was at 9 amps on L1 and 9.1 amps on L2. Full load amp is 9.3. Then there's a service factor on top of that, bring it up to about 10 amps. So if we're exceeding 10 amps, then we're starting to have some issues with our pump.
Where's the main disconnect for those?
That would be their circuit breaker. Let me see if I can pull that up. Right now, these are not labeled as for what circuit breaker actually powers them down. The electricians are going to be labeling those. If you did need to shut power to the pump or to the control system, there's 2 switches in here. We've got this circuit breaker, which will kill power to the pump, and we've got this switch that we can just turn to off, which would be right in the middle position, and that would power down, well, it would shut off power to the contactor, which would pull in order to energize that pump. But if this was off, the pump wouldn't energize anyway, because this is the circuit breaker for the power for the pump. So that needs to be an auto. It pretty much is self-contained. Train will be getting a status if that pump comes on. It will let the building automation system know that the pump did come on, just so people are aware that, hey, the pit had filled up and the pump did have to come on. As for alarm status, I don't believe that they have the alarm status hooked up to the building automation, but as you heard the alarm, everybody's going to know if the alarm goes off. It's pretty loud. The sump pumps and the sewage ejector pumps have a 2-year warranty. As for replacement parts, there's nothing we're providing attic stock-wise for replacement parts. Basically, if these pumps fail, there could be an issue maybe possibly with the floats not energizing. If that wasn't the case, the pump just maybe got something too big, too solid, gummed it up, jammed it up. Possibly have to replace the motor at that point. It's a pretty fail-safe setup. The only thing really that I've ever seen wrong with these is a float not operating properly. There are the 3 floats on here. If the stop float wasn't working, it would still start. If it didn't start, the start float didn't work, it'd still go to the alarm. Basically, the only thing that I can see in the near future ever going wrong with it would be the floats, and I don't see any reason why that would happen in the near future, but that would probably be the first thing to go on the system.
Will it be good to start them like every 2 or 3 months just to keep them running?
The question was, would it be good to start them? Yes, actually Justin talked about this earlier. Quarterly, when doing maintenance, opening up the pit, checking to see, making sure that we're not overflowing. We did have some standing water in here now. I recommend, let's flip it into hand, get that pumped out. We don't want to run the pumps dry, so it's a good idea to have the lid open, watch it, keep an eye on it, pump it out, turn it back into auto. We've got an addendum to the sump pumps. Yesterday when we were going through them, they were asking about a hole. When we turned the pump on, it was spraying out the side of the pipe. The purpose of that is it's a weep hole, so it won't have all that pressure of the water sitting on the head of the pump, so it won't have all that head pressure when it first fires up. After it runs, any leftover water in there will drain out of that weep hole, and that's the purpose of it.
Add that to the sump pump training, don't forget.